Good day, 360 family, 29th March, 8:30 a.m. here in South Africa. And I am wearing red today. You guessed it, RCB on the right track. What an unbelievable win over there in Chennai at the Chepauk Stadium. You don't often go there, especially for RCB and RCB fans. Very rarely go over there and win a game of cricket. So unbelievable performance, and RCB definitely making a statement, putting their peg in the ground in this year's IPL. Look at that great graphic there, Josh Hazlewood with Virat on his back. And why wouldn't you when you have one of the best fast bowlers in the world leading the way in this year's IPL? Just calm composure from Josh Hazlewood as always. But there are the scores, guys. I was playing golf yesterday when this game was happening. As I got off the golf course, I saw RCB batting first. We were about 8 or 9 overs into the game, and I told my friends, RCB for the win. And they said, how do you know? And I said, with that kind of base at the Chepauk Stadium, I can't see CSK winning this game of cricket. Yes, a lot of things still needed to happen, but I was happy to put my name on the block and say, listen, with a great start like that, I could see a bit of energy with the batters and just taking ownership of their roles out there. What a fantastic performance from the batting unit. 196 was always going to be tough for Chennai to chase. I knew it was around 160 par, in my opinion. And there were some pivotal moments during that innings that helped RCB get there. Obviously, the start from Phil Salt, injecting a lot of energy into the batting unit. Rajat Patidar's knock, crucially important. 50, you got 50 odd and 30 odd balls. There we go, 51-32. And from a Chennai point of view, they dropped him a few times, guys. And that was the game-changing moments that CSK needed, which they didn't get. But all in all, also Tim David at the back end chipping in. We'll cover a little bit more about the individual performances. But let's just talk about RCB and the tough start to their schedule, guys. Away from home a couple of times in a row. To start off a campaign is never easy. But they did it absolutely spot on. Look at that. Away. Now they go home, then they're away again, home, away, home, away, home, away. It's crazy. I've never seen a schedule like this, and it is challenging. But remember, we briefly touched on the fact that it can be one of your strengths. It can keep a squad together, especially when you find a bit of momentum to jump around like that. You find yourself often traveling together, where if you have 4 home games in a row, you sort of lose feel for the players. Guys do their own things. They go to different restaurants at night, and you sort of lose that touch and the connection between the squad. Where this kind of schedule is tough as it is, especially when you're not playing well, it can be difficult to see them all the time, your partners and your teammates. And then it's difficult. If you lose 3 on the bounce, you don't want to see your teammates anymore. You just want a bit of a break. You want to go to your hotel room, reset, and go again. Now you're on the road all the time in each other's faces. But when it's going well, you want to keep this train on the track as long as you can. Stay in that bubble together. Togetherness is what it's all about when you're jumping around like this, home, away, home, away. So great start for RCB, and it really is looking good. We're not going to go into the space of, is this the year? I'm not allowed to say Isala Cup Namde anymore. Even though I just said it. But I do believe this is one of the best starts RCB's ever had, not only from a results point of view, but the way the squad looks and how free they look out there, especially playing away from home, guys. Remember the defending champs, KKR, to beat them away from home in the start of the campaign, and also CSK, whose record over there at Chepauk Stadium is absolutely incredible. So 2 huge wins, and from here, the road actually gets a bit easier for RCB. As we have a look at this points table, RCB right on top. The only team with 2 wins and a fantastic net run rate, and just incredibly confident with the way they're performing right now. But there's the table, guys. RCB right on top, and some other teams at the bottom there that need a win desperately. We'll get either GT or MI off that 0 points today, as they are facing off. Rajasthan Royals and one of either GT or MI will be the only teams on 0 points after 2 games. Rajat Patidar, guys, what do you guys think of him? He's been, in my opinion, very, very calm out there as a young captain, a captain who's trying to fill huge boots of a Virat Kohli. It's not easy. It can be intimidating. a very, very big fan base. He must be feeling the pressure, but he's not showing any signs of that. He's batting beautifully and he's making sound and very clear decisions out there on the field. That's at least the idea I'm getting when I'm watching the television screen. I just feel this calmness and composure and clarity, which is very, very important, especially when you're playing against big teams like CSK, KKR away from home. He seems like he's done his homework and is batting incredibly well. What I liked about this innings, he didn't allow the couple of bad shots he played, and he spoke about this in his post-match interview. He didn't allow those couple of drop catches and bad shots to affect the next ball. And such a great message to all youngsters out there. Yes, I just played a bad shot. I got dropped. But now there's a new event happening. There's a new ball. The bowler's running in. I forget about that, and I'm trying to do my best to have an impact on the next delivery. And so you keep resetting throughout your innings, and that is a fantastic mindset to have as a top order batter. That knock was crucially important, guys, and the drop catches were even more important for an RCB, for the RCB fan base, as CSK lost a lot of momentum here, and Rajat set it up for guys like Tim David to have a bit of freedom at the end, who also had a huge impact in that batting lineup, and that total of 196. Guys, post your questions down below as per usual. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I will be taking some questions. The balance of the RCB squad. Good question this. How well balanced do you think the squad is compared to previous seasons? 10 times better. I can already answer that question. And are you liking the Patidar's captaincy? Been a big fan since childhood. So very, very good point you're making. And at the auction, if you guys can recall, I spoke about the balance and RCB needing balance. And we often speak about, but the bowlers have let us down. We need bowlers. It's not about the bowlers or the batters or the fielders. It's about having a sound balance in an IPL team and options. We saw Bhuvi Kumar. I didn't think he was going to play yesterday. He came in. That's what you want. You want guys to come in where you go like, wow, is this guy the replacement? Well, he's not even in the starting lineup of the first game. And now they're getting a Bhuvi Kumar to replace someone in the second game. And this is the kind of balance you need in the side. And not only balance, but depth. And those are the kind of teams throughout a tournament that have options on different wickets. And they need options, RCB. Of course, we saw the schedule as they are hopping around different conditions every second game. And they also still need to go back to Chinnaswamy, which will happen in the next game. And also try and find a rhythm there. There's no use in winning the away games, but not making your home games, a home ground, a fortress, right? Crucially important if RCB can find momentum at home and keep playing like this away. We're not expecting them to win all the away games, but just the odd one. They have a great start, right? If they can just get the odd one away from home. But very important to get your fan base at home excited about the season. They're already excited, but now it's crucially important to keep that momentum at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. There's the schedule again of RCB. I still can't believe what I'm seeing, but it is what it is. All right, Mr. MS Dhoni. Let's quickly talk about Chennai Super Kings. Guys, he's batting at 9, this guy. We spoke about it last season, and we're not seeing any change. I don't understand it. I really don't. It was weird because they had 2 left-handers coming in back-to-back. It would have been an ideal situation for them to break the 2 lefties up with a righty. MS Dhoni, I want to see you bat higher, guy. Come on. Batting at 9, scoring 30 off 16 is one of the only batters that really looked like he could cause a bit of havoc. He needs time. That's what I don't understand is MS, yes, he doesn't often play cricket anymore. He's not in regular schedules around the cricketing world. He plays the IPL and that's it. He's always been a guy, even though he was playing full seasons for India and for CSK, he was always a batter that still used up a little bit of time. He always needs 2 or 3 overs to get himself in. But when he's batting at 9, there's never the time for that. We saw him doing that last night again. I think he was on 3 or 4 balls, taking his time as per usual. But then you look up at the scoreboard and you go like, oh my word, there's only 20 balls left in the innings. So he's never going to have that kind of impact that we always are used to seeing him do. I understand him batting down the order, but not at 9. Anywhere between, in my opinion, 5, 6, 7. I wouldn't go lower than that. And let the rest of them sort of adapt and adjust around that. He's a guy that can have too much of an impact on a cricket game for him to bat at 9. So that's the long and the short. I'm not going to go on much longer about it. I know the CSK fans will agree with me. The cricketing world will agree with me because it's a no-brainer. He's quick between the wickets. is a busy guy and is the ideal player to come in when you've lost a wicket in the middle overs, to keep things busy, keep the scoreboard ticking over. And guess what? When MS Dhoni's 10 of 10 balls, he's one of the most dangerous batters to this day still in the world. So it would just make sense to me for him to come up the order a little bit. All right, let's talk about RCB's bowling unit, because that's what I'm most excited about with the RCB team, and I spoke about the balance. But let's quickly focus on the bowling attack. Josh Hazlewood leading that pace attack in Chennai, figures of 3 for 21 in 4 overs. You don't often see that from a seam bowler in Chennai, as the spinners generally dominate there. We saw that in that second innings. The spinners really bowling well. All our spinners for RCB played really well yesterday, as the wicket always gets a bit slower with the older ball. And weird for me to see CSK spinners not performing yesterday, but RCB spinners sort of outplaying them. But this attack from RCB really looks well balanced, guys. When you have Josh Hazlewood there, Yash Dayal, Bhuvi Kumar, and our spin attack, it's just a well-rounded bowling attack with lots of options for Raja to play with. You can use the swinging conditions, seaming conditions. When the ball starts turning a bit, you have your finger spinners. Livingston bowls off spin, leg spin. He's a jack of all trades, and he can do pretty much anything out there for the guys. And we have attacking options right throughout this bowling attack, and that is going to really boast well for RCB this season. I don't think we've ever had the kind of balance in a bowling attack like we have here now. It's all-round brilliance, and hopefully the form can maintain, but I can't see form going anywhere, because there's class acts in this bowling attack, and class is permanent. They might go through little dips here and there. Everyone will have a bad game here and there, but generally they will always keep bouncing back. Fantastic performance from the bowling unit. Yes, they had a good score to defend. 196 was always going to be too much for Chennai. But striking up front and really making inroads there in the CSK batting department was fantastic to see. The only guy that looked like he was prepared to fight that out there was Rachin Ravindra, and he looked really good. But other than that, no one really in the top order being prepared to stick it out. There's Rachin's 41 of 31 balls. A great knock from him, and he sort of set it up and just needed a partner to come in with a little bit of momentum and inject a bit of energy, and no one was able to do so, as the RCB's bowling was just too good on the night. How do you think the aggressive intent was missing in the CSK batters? I don't think it was really missing. Look, you always need a bit of a base before you can be aggressive. And if anything, they kept losing wickets, so they could never really set that foundation to ultimately sort of jump from there, and shoot through the stars. It was never set. They maybe needed Rachin to get an 80 because no one was batting around him. He was probably the guy to be there with an MS at the end, and then they would have had a slight chance perhaps. But unfortunately, he got out getting bowled by Yash Dayal, played on actually inside edge as it found the stumps. All right, more questions, guys. Post your questions as we've gone through most of the stuff. I'll ask my team maybe to put that next graphic on, as I wanted to quickly touch on that. But let's quickly cover this first, as we'll go back to that past. I wanted to talk about the Hyderabad wicket and what happened in that last game. Are there still weaknesses in RCB that were shadowed by the win yesterday? There's always room for improvement. And I think Rajat even mentioned that in his post-match interview. You always want to work on areas, even if you're winning. It's a very nice place to be in, when you win back-to-back away from home and you still feel like, now let's look at areas where we can improve. It's always tougher to learn. Some of the best lessons are learned when you're losing, but it's very difficult to believe in those lessons. Where when you're winning and you're learning, it's almost easier to have faith in what you're doing. You're on the right track now. Let's try and improve. Let's be hypercritical about certain areas where we can improve with both bat and ball. I didn't see much wrong in that last couple of performances. Rajat spoke about the fielding and how they have pride in their fielding performance. And we definitely see a bit of energy led by Virat in the field, which I love to see. He's not a spring chicken anymore. He's not 25, but he still runs it around like a 25-year-old. The passion is still there. The energy is still there, but it's all positive energy. So that is great to see from Virat. Really leading from the front in a field where it's a selfless act. We've often heard him speak about being selfless, and that's the place where you want to showcase to your own teammates and also the rest of the world that I'm here to play for my team and not for myself. So great from Virat in the field. And if RCB keeps tidying up things with both bat and ball and in the field, things look really good for the future. Phil Salt, I see that's come up. Seeing Salt, I remembered you. He does look a little bit like me there. The only difference between us here is he does that in the first over, where I never played shots like that in the first over. I generally did this only once I got to 40, 50, 60, set a base, looked up at the scoreboard, only 3 overs left. Then I would start loosening up the hips like that and finish at the top. Other than that, I generally played check drives, hardly ever followed through like that, except for when it was at the end, where I looked for ultimate power. But Phil Salt, guys, he's just fearless. And I mean, it must be difficult for bowling attacks in the IPL to prepare for this guy, because he doesn't generally have a game plan. His game plan is just, I'm going to attack you no matter what. I don't care how well you bowl. I don't care if you beat my bat 3 times in a row, because I'm going to look to hit 6 the next ball again. So it's relentless pressure from him. As long as he can keep executing, I mean, obviously your percentages come down a bit when you're overly aggressive, but his consistency is incredible for a guy that plays so aggressive. And I saw a video clip from Dinesh Karthik talking about Phil Salt and how often he scores 8+ runs in those first 6 overs, 12+ runs, and his stats are absolutely incredible for a guy that's so aggressive to be so consistent. I mean, 32 of 16, yes, it's not 132 and it's not an 80, but that is very, very impactful at the top of the order, and it really takes a lot of pressure off other guys having to come in to look to score. Now they can sort of just stick to their game plans. A Virat Kohli getting 30 of 30 balls yesterday, Phil Salt set that up. Otherwise, Virat would have felt like, you know what, I don't really feel ready, but now I have to look for boundaries. I have to go aerial, even though I'm not feeling confident about it. It allowed guys like that a bit of freedom to go, you know what, tonight 31 or 30 balls will be good enough. And that's where Virat is at his best, guys. And it might not look flashy, it might not look sexy, but 31 or 30 was crucially important and played a huge role in that 196 total. Once again, freeing things up for guys like Tim David at the back in Livingston to come out and not having to try and build, but feeling like, you know what, I've faced 3 balls, I can look to pounce now, where generally that'll take a little bit longer. So, yeah, great start from Phil Salt, Virat, and the guys. All right, SRH, quickly talk about Hyderabad. And I was calling for, I mean, guys were talking about the batters dominating, and it's always going to be 250 at Hyderabad. It doesn't always play out that way. And if anything, they're putting a bit of pressure on themselves, because now everyone is expecting the Orange Army to get 250 plus in every game. And sometimes that can be your downfall, playing over-attacking shots, not knowing what a good score will be on a very, very good wicket. So falling to 190, and it proved not to be even close to enough. And they were probably right. 250 was probably going to be the score, 240 maybe. But maybe they were looking for too much. Maybe that 300 number is in their head a bit. And generally, you can sometimes be your own downfall. And I think that was the case for the Orange Army in that game. And they're going to have to get rid of that expectation they are putting on themselves now. Yeah, I understand everyone is talking about it, and maybe it's the fault of the media and the fans really going 300. We all want to see 300, but sometimes you have to play the situation. And I often spoke about that. I don't care if there's an impact player. I don't worry about, I don't care too much about the field restrictions. You still have to play what's in front of you. You can't put a number on it before the game started. So maybe SRH putting too much pressure on themselves there. And Lucknow Super Giants coming out. Nicholas Pooran. I mean, I played with this guy in the Caribbean League before. I knew he was very talented back then already. He was in a terrible car accident many years ago. I remember what a bad place he was in back in the day. He was in a moon boot, telling me he's not sure how he's going to come back from that. And look where he is now, playing the cricket of his life and really dominating. Very, very happy for him. Playing a huge role in that, because they did slip up in those middle overs. And if it wasn't for his start and his relentless pressure out there on the SRH bowlers, maybe they would have come into a bit of pressure or into a bit of a bad spot towards the back end of that game. But all in all, great start from Mitch Mars and Nicholas Pooran. Just too much on the night for them. Heinrich Klaasen, guys, I just briefly spoke about SRH. Is Klaasen too aggressive and not playing the situation? Henk, good question. He's a very good friend of mine, and I often and speak to him a lot about cricket. And I think he's one of the most talented cricket players on the planet as we speak, with the most shots and the most options, but also with the most pressure. And that's a bit of a trend for the SRH whole batting lineup. The expectation of having to get to 300, what's enough on our home ground? Is it 260? Is it 250? Is it 280? I can't even believe we're talking about numbers like that. But as a whole, as a batting unit, they need to sort of just come down and go like, guys, let's all sort of clear the thoughts and just watch the cricket ball and play cricket. If it's feeling easy, let's bounce and let's accelerate. If it's not feeling easy, let's respect that situation and understand, maybe build for an over or two, where I feel it's just all out guns blazing there all the time. And maybe Heinrich is also falling into that trap, feeling that expectation from the owners, from the fans, from the media, everyone talking about 300. So when he looks up at the scoreboard and he sees we need 118, 12 overs to get to 300, maybe he's feeling like, you know what, I'm going to have to just go at every ball here. So yes, I think it is playing on his mind a bit. I would love for him. I mean, in that first knock he played the other night, I really saw good signs of him keeping the ball on the ground a lot longer. He hit a couple of balls past the spinner, straight past him for 4 on the ground. And that's what I spoke to him about before. He plays the pickup pool, the best I've ever seen in my entire life. But does it always have to go up in the air? I mean, just take a lot of risk off the table and find the spaces. At the very worst, you're going to get 2 runs because he never misses it. But I don't want it to go up in the air because it's half a miss hit and you're out. So I saw good signs there. Obviously not coming good against Lucknow the other night, but in that first game, there were really good signs for Klaasen, where I think he's starting to think about it a bit more, keeping the ball on the ground, get your 40 or 30 balls, take your time. And generally, he's so good. He's going to score faster than most batters out there anyway, without having to try and hit everything over the boundary for 6. You can hit 4s as well. 4s are just as impactful. If you get 3 4s in an over, it's just as good as 2 6s. Just a lot less risk with smart cricket. So RCB, going back home, Chennai Stadium, strong start. Where to now? What to next? I would say back to the drawing board. I spoke about it's nice to learn when you're winning. And I think just going home, the main focus will be, how are we going to play at the Chennai Stadium this year? We have lots of games at home as well. Yes, we're jumping around. But when we come home, we must find an edge on the opposition. And how are we going to do that? I don't have the answer for that. That's up to the brain tank over there, Andy Flower, Virat, Rajat, to find a way to make the Chennai a fortress this year, where teams must travel there and think, I don't know how we're going to win here. And that's what CSK managed to do over the years. Teams will travel there. And before you start the game, you always felt like we're already sort of behind the game. We have to do something extraordinary to win away from home against CSK. And that's what I want RCB to create this year. They have the team for that. And they can play around with the starting 11, with that impact player, and really jump around with what they're going to try and do and how they're going to expose weakness in the opposition teams at home. Would you say the next few steps for RCB should look forward to in this IPL after a fabulous start? So yes, sorry, I didn't even see the question, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. So it's only one home game now against GT, and then they travel again, which is not easy, but find a way against GT to really send a statement across the IPL with, you're going to come to Chennai and you're going to find it difficult to find your feet at our home ground. And the fans will play a huge role. To all RCB fans, if you're listening, go to the Chennai, make it a sellout in that next game against GT, and make the opposition feel our presence. We've had a great start. Get behind the boys now. This could possibly be the year, no doubt about it. But we're not going to touch the trophy until it's at home, right? So for the fans, get excited and have that intimidation factor. Go get it going at the Chennai Stadium. We desperately need it. We need the team to start believing that we can go all the way this year. All right, today's match, GT and MI. So they both on 0 points. I spoke about it briefly when we had a look at the log. So one of them will get off that 0 finally. Well, not finally. They only played one game each. I'm a bit harsh there. But one of them will jump to 2 points after today's match, and they desperately need a bit of a good net run rate. So that is played in Ahmedabad, so it's a home game for the Gujarat Titans, and can they get it going for this season's campaign? Not a good start for either of those teams. Mumbai Indians, we've had a look at their record. I mean, it's been many years. I think 2013 was the last time they won the opening game of the IPL, which is absolutely incredible. Maybe 2012. No, I think it was 2013. That's over 10 years ago. So hopefully they will get going in game number 2 of this year's IPL, but also hopefully for GT. I don't really care. I care about RCB, right? I'm just kidding. I care about all the teams. We talk passionately about all the teams, but we want RCB to go all the way. Josh Hazlewood, guys, the Aussie. I spoke about his calmness, his composure, performing exceptionally well. I was so excited a couple of years back when I saw his name in the RCB list of players, and unfortunately missed out a lot since then as he got injured, but he looks fresh. He looks ready to go. And one of the questions he faced last night after that game was, is it difficult to come back after a 3-month rest or being away from the game? And Josh, being him, being the great that he is, sort of turned that into a positive. And I love that about sports people who always see the positive no matter what. You had 3 months rest. How do you prepare for IPL? You must be undercooked. And he said, no. If anything, if I played a full season, sometimes you feel fatigued in an IPL. So he turned that around. And I love that kind of outlook in life. No matter how good or bad a situation is, you always see the glass half full, and that's what Hazlewood did here. He sees it as a challenge. I've had 3 months off, no problem. I'm gonna take it and say, you know what, I'm feeling fresh, and I'm gonna use that as a positive and go into the IPL. If he's played the whole season, he might be a little bit tired, and they'll ask him, "Are you fatigued?" And he'll say, "No, but I'm feeling confident about my game because I'm in form, and I'm going to use up all the experience of the season in this IPL campaign." So that's how, as a sportsman, you can always sort of brainwash yourself in seeing the glass half full. Your glass is never going to be entirely full. So the sooner you realize that, the better. You can't always be on top of the world. The glass is going to be half. But is it half full or half empty? And for Hazlewood, it's definitely half full. So hopefully that will continue throughout the season, and I've no doubt it will. Touch wood, no injuries. Quickly on Ryan Rickelton, guys, my fellow South African. He'll be running out for MI at the opening spot again today. I hope that Rickelton can get it right. He looks as a good player, but needs to get runs behind him. Look, let's not get impatient. He's played one game only, and he looked very, very good. Inside edge onto the stumps. No one likes to get out like that. You always feel a little bit unlucky when you get out like that. But if anything, in the IPL, in Indian conditions, just remember to wait for the ball. Always play it as late as possible. Played on deliveries generally point to you sort of going a little bit hard at it. And Rickelton is good at doing that. He loves hitting on the up. But remember, Test cricket. Play it under your eyes, and from there you can accelerate through the ball. He is a wonderful batter, and I've no doubt he's going to have a fantastic IPL. As things always go in an IPL, there will be huge pressure. You will feel it. But remember, all players feel it. It's not just one or two. Everyone goes out there. Even in MS Dhoni, having not played a lot of cricket, he will go out there and feel like, where's my next run coming from? So, yes, everyone feels that. And Ryan Rickelton, I won't say desperately needs runs yet, but it will be nice to set the foundation and get a good start in today's match. All right, a couple more questions, guys. The first time in 17 years. Do you think winning at the Chepauk against CSK is generally a great achievement? Of course. Is it something that's just overhyped given the rivalry and the venue's reputation? It's definitely not overhyped, guys. I've been there. I've done that. It is a real thing. It generally is a thing when you're traveling to start off with. You're a little bit out of your comfort zone. You get on a plane. Things don't always go according to plan when traveling, right? Security checks at airports. There are delays sometimes. There's a bus ride. There's an accident. You got to wait. So things are not as ideal always. You get to the hotel. It's a late check-in. You got to rush to the ground to do your training session the next day you're playing. So sometimes it's like that, and things are difficult when you're traveling. And then you run into a team like CSK who are incredibly good at exposing opposition teams in their home conditions. They understand their pitches. They have a brain guru, a guru in MSD who understands conditions better than anyone, especially at the Chepak Stadium. He understands when the dew will come in. He understands when it starts turning, when to expose batters with swinging deliveries, when it's going to start staying a bit lower. And as opposition traveling there, you're not exactly sure. You're also a cricketing brain, yes, but sometimes you're just behind MS with reading situations. And that is an advantage. So it is a real thing, and their record speaks for itself. You don't go to the Chepak Stadium very often and just dominate. I think they win about 70% of the games there, maybe even more. I'm not sure. We'll pull up the stats next time, but they have a fantastic record there. So it is daunting. And it's just when you look at around the stadium, it's just yellow everywhere. And sometimes even the weather can play a role where it gets really hot and humid. And as a batter, you're not used to that. You run out of steam a bit earlier than usual. So there's a lot of things to take into account when you go there. Everything is hyped up, but it's not overhyped because it is a real thing, guys. It really is. Great win for RCB, and exactly what they needed to get this campaign going. Beating the defending champions and beating 5 times winners CSK all away from home. It doesn't get better than that. It's absolutely spot on, the perfect start, and it's up to them to take full control of that and use that momentum. All right, last one. Will I be going to the IPL for IPL duties? Will I be going to India? I will. I was supposed to be there now. Things changed a little bit. I will be there at the back end, the last 2 to 3 weeks. I will be spending time in India. I'm very much looking forward to that and getting into the hype of the IPL, and the hype will be real then, and hopefully RCB will be there as one of the last 4 teams at the back end of the IPL. Very much looking forward to that, guys. That's closer to May month. I've got a bit of traveling to do in April. I will be going to watch a live golf event called the US Masters in Augusta. So that is a trip I'm very much looking forward to, and then also some duties throughout the rest of April, and that's why some things needed to change, and unfortunately I'm only coming for the last few weeks of the IPL, but it doesn't mean I'm not bored into this IPL. I am watching every single game, and I can't wait to watch today's fixture as well. I will be getting back to you guys with regards to the following few days and the results and the action about to take place. There's also a double-header tomorrow, guys, on Sunday, so stay tuned for that. And I'll be going live this coming Wednesday, so stay tuned. Follow me on socials as per usual. Thanks to everyone for joining me on this week's 360 Live. It's all IPL time, and I'm very much looking forward to the next few months and seeing how RCB will dominate this year's IPL. I know there are lots of other fans going, shush, AB, just shut up. You are irritating us. Guys, it's all about the red this year. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a fantastic Saturday. Oh, quick one. I'll be watching some music tonight. I don't know how many of you out there know the Goo Goo Dolls, the movie City of Angels. Iris is the hit song there, the biggest soundtrack song. I know a lot of people will know that song when you hear it. I'm going to watch them live tonight. And opening up the stage for them is a good friend of mine, Rowan Ash. I've spoken about him before on this show. So I'm going to watch Rowan Ash. And the main event is Goo Goo Dolls. Go watch the movie City of Angels. Nicolas Cage, absolutely amazing. And I think it was Meg Ryan. Yes. Great movie. One of the all-time greats. Have a great weekend, guys. And I'll catch up with you soon. Let's keep an eye on GT and MI today. It's going to be an absolute belter of a game. Take care. Have a good Saturday. And this is the 360 Live. Have a good one. Bye now.